The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Makeup's done? Hair's did?
This is probably one of the most glamorous moments
Okay.
of my life.
Time for News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
Well, I have some interesting news, and it feels good to be validated, actually. There's a guy named Tommy Flame, and he noticed...
That's a rockin' name.
Flame?
Yeah,
for
Tommy
sure.
Flame.
For sure. He was working at a restaurant, and his boss was like, hey, we have this whole cornhole set up, and we just don't have anyone using them during the week. Can you think of any creative ideas as to how we can get people to come to our restaurant and use the cornhole? And so he was like, yeah, let's do a speed dating event. That would be fun.
Okay.
He started with the cornhole. He also did pickleball. It was huge. Got a lot of people, a lot of singles. But now he started Silly Sports. And so it's all about creating events for singles, and it has to do with sports. Now, he did his first ever singles cornhole league, and he said that while it was easy to find single ladies to join, because they have 100. They're looking for 100 single women, 100 single men.
Okay.
All they had to do was put out a TikTok video, and in minutes, the women's league was made, okay?
Of course.
But he said finding single men was the complete opposite. So here's Tommy Flame to explain.
We just spent $1,200 on paid ads, got 0 registrations. So if you're in New York City and know any single straight men, we'll pay you $50 per person that signs up. But like, if you're single and you're a girl, I don't know how you do it.
The Betty Rock has experienced this, and I'm not going to use the word desperate here, but like there are a lot of women who are looking for that guy, and they are putting themselves out there. They are trying the unconventional. They're trying the speed dating, internet dating, whatever, just for the hopes of meeting somebody. And it's obvious. It filled up that whole side.
Right.
They don't have any partners.
Yeah. I can't talk about it too much, but I will say this.
Or I'll cry.
Well, I mean, you're not far from the truth. There is, in this article, Tommy did say that he's noticed there's an effort discrepancy. So he's like, all the time, we're finding women that will put themselves in silly situations. And maybe it's corny, maybe it won't work, but they're willing to do it for the hope that they will meet someone. Whereas with men, he's finding that a lot of men don't want to be vulnerable enough to admit that they want to be in a relationship.
Right.
And they also don't want to be, quote unquote, tied down. Yet they want a relationship.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. But he did say, too, that he's noticed that when it comes to females and males see these speed dating events as a lot of pressure.
Sure.
Whereas with women, they see it as community building.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, like guys I could see, because it's hard to put your best foot forward if you have 3 minutes to meet someone and all you do is stammer, because like you get nervous, like I can't say anything. But I would have thought the cornhole would have worked, because then you're doing an activity, you're playing a game. Maybe it's like they did it as a cornhole league, and guys are like, I'm not playing co-ed cornhole. Why would I do that? That's going to be horrible, because they're like super competitive.
Even if there's single eligible women there?
Oh, yeah. For
But
some
still-
guys, I would have gone. If I was single, absolutely. No, I don't know if I would have. Because then I don't want a girl to beat me either. And that probably could happen.
See, this is why I stay at home all the time watching Dateline.
It is our fault. It's not yours. That's absolutely true. Uplifting WayFM. This is the Wally Show. We're going to do a little boo yay your weekend, where you tell us a story about your weekend. We'll go around the room, give you a boo or a yay, and your job is to get more yays than boos. Sometimes we're booing for you because it was a bad thing that happened, and other times it's just sheer jealousy. I'm hoping to get 2 yays on this one, but maybe Betty will give me a boo because I broke a long-standing tradition for me this weekend with Facebook Marketplace.
What do you mean? You're always angry at
Yes.
Facebook Marketplace because you see things that you pretty much window shop. You see things that you want, and then you don't follow through and actually buy them. Then someone else buys them, and you get angry.
Or when I follow through, the people never get back to me. Like a week later, maybe they hit me up, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's meet today. And then another week goes by. Like, I have the worst luck with Facebook Marketplace people. They're sketchy, you know, and so this time I saw a desk that I wanted for the office. And so I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Race car themed desk. And so I was like, ooh, that's fun. Like, I'm 5 years old.
Men never grow up, but that's okay.
I know.
Like it.
I'm getting a race car bed too. See, Betty laughs. Gavin's like, yeah, I think it's kind of cool. So I hit the guy up on Facebook. He gets back to me within like 15 minutes. So automatically I'm thinking, okay,
Great.
there's going to be a problem. Like, there's no way this could actually be happening. And then I tried to meet a day early. We set up a time. Everything's great. I had some time. My plans changed. So I thought, okay, I'll meet him a day early.
Yeah.
He couldn't do that, but we still met on the day that we agreed to. And I went even early on that day. I said, hey, I could come up earlier because I had to drive like an hour. So you know it's a nice desk. And so we negotiated the price. Everything's good. I drive up there. He says he's going to be there at 1 o'clock. I got there at 1:04. He was there with the desk ready to go.
Hey!
Helped me load it in. Was so nice. We talked about different racing things that we like. Great family, and I was on my way in 10 minutes. And the desk was exactly like it was advertised.
Wow.
I never have good luck on Facebook Marketplace.
That's how it should always be.
Yeah, like
I
it
know.
was amazing. Like that's like why people get on there to sell something and then they act like they don't want to sell it is beyond me.
I get it.
Yeah, so that to me was a complete yay of a weekend.
You know what? I hear your frustration.
Yes.
I've been forced to hear your frustration multiple times. So I'm going to give you a yay.
Yay!
But for me, so that I don't have to hear about your frustration.
Yes, that is a yay. Thank you, Gavin.
I'll base it just on my interaction of walking into our office and seeing just a flashy red.
Yeah.
And just like, it's brightened up our experience in the office
Oh,
now.
Gavin, thank you.
So,
yeah.
And I mean, it just looked like a red plastic desk to me.
It's not how I
I'm
see
pointing out to Gavin, I'm like, yeah, and it's got shock absorbers on it and these tubes, and it's a strut from a car in the front. And Betty's like, oh, yeah, I didn't get any of that. I just saw red. All right, 855-33-WAY-FM. Give us a story from your weekend, and we will boo-yay it with you. 855-33-WAY-FM. What do you got?
All right. Always have great luck on Facebook Marketplace. And we just scored a Murphy bed, you know, the bed that like comes down off the wall.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. And we have been looking for one for a really long time. And my husband found one with a mattress, really comfortable memory foam mattress, that on Amazon was like $2,000. They sold it to us for $500.
Oh, wow.
Brand new, really nice family. They were moving, and just it was such a great deal. I was like, yes, praise God, we needed this bed.
I'll tell you, if I had had a bad experience on Facebook this weekend Marketplace, I would give you a boo because I would be so jealous of you. But I'm in a great mood. I had a fantastic experience too. Out of the norm because my Facebook Marketplace experiences never go smoothly or that well. So I am happy for you. I'm happy for me. Nicely done. Betty Lou.
I'm going to give you a yay for you, but a boo for your next visitor because I had to sleep in a Murphy bed and it scared me to death. Because I've seen in Looney Tune cartoons, Murphy beds are the ones where you lay down and then they just slam you to the wall and then you end up as flat as a pancake. So I don't trust
this
them.
is not that type. This is a better quality one.
Yeah, better quality than the Acme ones that the Roadrunner uses, Rock. So what happened?
We went to a Rend Collective concert.
Rend Collective is a lot of fun to see live. I've seen them a couple times, and I've loved them every time.
They're very hyper, but in a good way. Like they give you a show for sure. What was your favorite song that they performed?
Like every single one of them. But they did get some of the Irish in there. But it was neat to see all of the different instruments. Totally awesome. And then the violinist had so much energy. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, the violinist is, I believe, Jonathan Chu. He used to be the violinist for Skillet. Remember that when they had him?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's awesome. And I remember talking to him one time when he just joined Ren Collective, and he asked the guys, he's like, on stage, I kind of go nuts. I've been with Skillet all these years, and, do I need to tone it down? And they're like, no, mate, we're going to keep up with you. And so they turned him loose, and so you got the benefit of that for sure. Now, did they hand out any Lucky Charms at the show?
No, but they talked about it in like every little.
Boo! Missed opportunity! Boo!
They did shoot out confetti though, golden green confetti. They did shoot that out.
Oh,
Okay.
fun.
Yay-ish.
No, I'd definitely give you a yay on that one.
They should load those confetti cannons with Lucky Charms.
Lucky
That's
Charms. That
what
would
they
be
need to do.
clever.
Like, how great would that be?
I agree with
It
that.
might put an eye or two out, but for the people that get the marshmallows, pretty great day.
Totally.
Hey, Wally, do you have a minute?
Sorry, busy.
I have cake.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of even though we are busy, we make time for what's important.
Yeah, because going back to school as an adult, you're busy with work, you've got family, but if you want to make your education a priority, trust me, you can do it. Betty did.
Like when I first started, I was super intimidated because it had been a while since I've been in school. But I mean, from the very first conversation, I felt like they were setting me up for success.
Yeah, and going back to school with CCU's flexible online courses makes it so convenient.
Yeah, and what's so cool is every class has a biblical worldview perspective. And so you think, well, how can they turn math into a biblical worldview? They find a way.
Yeah, and that was one of my jobs when I was teaching at CCU, was integrating not just the facts and figures of things, but how your faith plays into what you're going to do.
CCU offers Christ-centered higher education, transforming students to impact the world with grace and truth.
Cultivate your mind without compromising your heart. Get started today at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a non-profit impact partner.
In a broken world, stories with humor, heart, or hope are a nice change of pace.
There are some things money can't buy.
It's News-ish on The Wally Show.
When a tragedy happens, it's in the news cycle for a couple weeks, but then the rest of the world moves on while those affected are left to pick up the pieces. Well, I found a kind of a good news story of one of the survivors of the Uvalde mass school shooting from 2022. There's a girl named Maya. She survived the deadly shooting when the gunman stormed into her classroom, killed 2 teachers and a bunch of her friends.
Oh, my word.
And, she had a front row seat to evil that day. And that's going to be with her for the rest of her life. And so anything that can give her a little bit of joy or goodness in the midst of dealing with all that is great. But life does move forward. So recently she had her quinceañera, and those are a huge celebration in her community. Kind of like weddings, quinceañeras can take a year to plan, and people spend a bunch of money on it. It's a big celebration. And the cool thing for her is that there are certain dressmakers that girls would love to have a dress from things like that. Like in the South, if you go to prom, you want a Sherry Hill dress, you do. It's what you want.
Too much.
Yeah, and if you're in the quinceañera world, you want a Moda 2000 dress. And so that was what Mia wanted. Yeah. And so her parents obviously would have loved to make that happen for her. But these are like really expensive and ornate dresses. But the owners of Moda 2000 told me as parents that they would love to be the madrinas or the godmothers of the dress. And so the tears began to flow, which that means they were going to give her the dress for free.
Aww.
So how great is that?
So
and
sweet.
It's a beautiful full gown with the appropriate amount of tulle and taffeta and, of course, crystals. I know way too much about design and dresses. You'd think somebody wrote that for me. No, proud of that. Nailed it. But they also took part when they picked up the dress in like a sentimental ritual that Moda 2000 does for its customers. It involves the parents doing a waltz with their daughter while they wear the dress.
That's
It's
so
kind of a
sweet.
nice way to send it out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the ladies who own the dress company said they had obviously heard about the shooting when it happened a few years back. And they said that they wanted to give back to the community, but they didn't know how. They weren't connected to it. So how do they do that? But it was for them, they said it's kind of an honor, and they were thankful that they got to help out at least one of the people that was affected by this tragedy and create a special day for me.
Yeah, because it changed her world. That
Absolutely.
one person, it changed her.
Absolutely. And you take something that was really bad. I mean, it's very scriptural. What the world, meant for evil, God means for good, and so same situation where you could be consumed by this, and she got to see the worst one day of humanity. She also got to see the best.
Right.
And that gives you hope that, there's more of the best than there is than the worst. Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And recently, TV host and pretty unfiltered comedian Chelsea Handler turned 50. And it caused her to look back and reflect on her life. And it found her trying to answer some of the questions that she struggled with body issue-wise. And she said, I found her quote interesting. She said, yes, of course, I'm a woman. She was asked if she had struggled with body image. She said, yes, of course, I'm a woman. I've done the same thing in my 20s. I would weigh myself 15 times a day. If I weighed a certain amount, I wouldn't go out that night. I would exercise. I would run for 2 hours on the beach, then come back and weigh myself again to see how much water weight I'd lost. Same. Oh, wow. I've done that.
Oh,
yeah, I've actually done that to see
Sounds super unhealthy.
You know what it is, actually, it turns out. She said, looking back, though, she called that time in her life such a waste of time. I've spent so many hours worrying about my body image, and I think that this is something that affects people, men and women, to some degree. But I definitely think it's more prevalent inside of women's world. Mm-hmm. Would you agree, Rock?
Oh, for sure, because I do feel like the expectation is higher with women. And that's not to say that men put that on women. There's sometimes where women put that on women,
yeah, you do.
But yeah, definitely, for sure. I wonder why she's saying now at 50 that that's a waste of time.
She just kind of had that epiphany. Like, everybody gets to a place where they're like, oh my goodness, what I've been doing is so dumb. She's like, I feel more freer about the fact that I have cellulite now and it's not shameful. And when you can get to that place and be like, yeah, I'm good with me, I think that's like super transformative.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would be interested though, because we all have an inner voice, an inner critic. That is loud inside of our head sometimes, and quieting that can be super challenging. I am curious if you struggle in this, what is it that your inner voice tells you? I think talking about it might, give you some, giving it words somehow, like, helps you deal with it better, but then also, too, it might help explain what you're thinking to someone else, and maybe we can kind of process it.
That's not crazy at all, because that is therapy.
Oh my goodness, is that what therapy is? It's pretty great.
Exactly. It's talking about what you're thinking inside of your head and getting it out so that you can see what the root of it is, or maybe you can see the ridiculousness of it, or you can see what the real issue is.
Right.
Instead of it just being this ball of mess inside your head.
I wish there was a way for guys to do therapy.
I can't. I have
no words.
I don't know.
All right, 855-33-WAY-FM. I'd love to get your take on this. What does that inner voice sound like in your head as it pertains to like body image issues? 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now.
Yeah, Candy said, you're not pretty like other girls. That's what my dad told me when I was 10 years old, and I never seem to forget it. But now I have a tattoo that says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made from Psalms 139.
And I'm curious if the dad thought he was doing like something good.
Sure, I don't know how anything good could come from that.
Here's how. If he sees something that he thinks is going to be a lifelong problem for her, he's like, you're not pretty like other girls, but you know what? You're really good at this, and I love you, and I think you're amazing like this. So maybe you're not traditionally pretty, but man, you're awesome. Like I could see a dad trying to somehow justify it and make it.
I had a child, if I had a daughter, and I heard my husband telling my 10-year-old daughter that, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I would say, what are you thinking?
Here's what he's saying, because guys know, you're going to get made fun of for things. So if you get out ahead of it and you like, and then you accept who you are ahead, like, cause you do the damage control up front, I think it's how guys' brains work. And like, that's, I mean, I get as a dad, like, I understand
through with your wife first.
Oh, no.
Maddie, she said, I never actually had any issues until later in life when my dad started apologizing for my nose, saying that I got it from him. And now I've become self-conscious about it. It's the first thing I see when I look into the mirror. But I admit I have blamed my nose for being the reason people don't find me pretty.
Oh, my goodness. And again, back to dads. Our words to our daughters carry so much weight. Sometimes we don't think they're listening, or we think they're dismissive of us, especially in those teenage years. But man, I mean, the words that you speak into your daughter's life can be transformative or can be detrimental, as you're seeing here. That's rough. I am curious, if you got time and you want to weigh in on this, I'd love to know like what your inner critic is saying kind of about you, and like how you fight that, or how you came to terms with that, kind of like Chelsea Handler did. We got time for one or two more. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. We'll take yours now. 855-33-WAY-FM. What does your inner voice kind of sound like, or what does it tell you?
So I suffer from alopecia. Well, I won't say suffer. I have alopecia. I lost all of my hair about 12 years ago, and I was really down about it. But now at 55, I embrace it. I love it. I think I'm beautiful without hair. And I often joke that God doesn't count the number of hairs on my head because I don't have any.
Now, how did you get to this point? Because I'm sure that didn't come natural at first. How did you get to that confidence?
To be completely honest with you, I am at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, and the humidity here is something. And one day I pulled the wig off and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore because it's not my authentic self. I'm okay with being bald.
I love that confidence. That's so great because I don't have alopecia, but my hair is thinning. Betty Rock brings it up all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it blinds me.
Some people get body shamed. I get follicle shamed, And so this gives me hope, Denise. Thank you that maybe I'm more than just what Betty Rock sees.
You're more than just your hair.
Thank you. I appreciate you. This is, I didn't expect this to be healing and transformative for me, but Denise, thank you.
We're in this together, Wally. Have a wonderful day.
What's your thought on this?
I'm a dad of a 34-year-old daughter, and I have a 36-year-old son. And when they were little, we were take your jabs where you can get them kind of family, and I always joked to my son that if he ever grew into his head, he would be 10 feet tall. And he didn't make it. He made it to 6'2", and he never did grow into his head.
Oh,
but,
wow.
He's still, there's still time. But my daughter was always self-conscious about her ears, and I don't know why. But that was what we used to, poke at her about, was her ears. She still is just super bothered by the fact that we used to do that, and she's still self-conscious about her ears. Now, 30 years later, it breaks my heart that I did that to her, because I read somewhere one time that, a little girl's first true love is her dad, and that I would put her through that. It really does break my heart.
A lot of people might not understand this. Like, my family is like that too. We kind of poke fun at each other for different things. And so I get 100% where you're coming from. Like, my daughter, she, when she was younger, had really prominent buck teeth. And so in my head, I was like, hey, if we just admit this and we get her to be okay with it, we called them her chompers and things like that. Then when kids make fun of her, she'll be okay with it, And I didn't think about it, but it might have been one of those things that actually hurt her to hear from her dad, And so now I got to go call her, Les, and hey, did I damage you by any chance by trying to help?
And the amazing thing with my daughter is it didn't come out that it bothered her until she was married and had kids of her own.
Yeah.
And I was like, that really bothered you? We were just messing around. She's like, well, you were messing around to you, but you weren't messing around to me.
That's interesting. I feel you, man. I feel you. I'm right there with you.
Let's not overthink this.
Don't think too hard about it.
It's News-ish on The Wally Show.
What you got, Gavin?
Okay, quick poll in the room. Everyone doing well after the time change recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm jet lag, I feel, is way worse than the time change.
Okay.
Time change, for a day, you're like, that's a bummer. But then I think you get used to it.
I'm the same way, except for this time around, for some reason, 8 o'clock at night still feels like 7 to me. But 4 o'clock wake up call feels like 3
right.
to me.
Yeah.
So it's been messing with me.
The spring forward, you lose an hour of sleep, basically.
Yeah. And for people like me, I found this list that might be helpful for me and others who might be struggling with the time change. It's tips on how to adjust to the time change. So the first thing they mention, super easy and simple. If you're out and about, get some sun. Spending time in the natural light can recalibrate your clock. Mm-hmm. They say don't lean on that extra cup of coffee, though, because if you have too much caffeine in your system, they say past noon,
you won't sleep.
You're not going to sleep. And I for so long, was always like, okay, a cup of coffee at 3 p.m. does not mess with me. And it's starting to mess with me.
Oh, really? Yeah, my daughter's the same way.
I'm getting older.
You guys are a lot in common.
They do say to I heard that. I wish I didn't.
Funny how his daughter is the one taking offense.
They also recommend that you hydrate because your body will feel fatigued if you are too hydrated. So drink some water.
You shouldn't do that though. You're always hydrated.
Yeah.
Too hydrated.
Yes, I go beyond hydration. I go. Yeah, I'm a constant flow at this point.
Yeah, you're hyper hydrated.
I am, and it's great. They mentioned getting some exercise, even if it's a brisk walk, just because it'll help your body be tired when you go to sleep. And then I didn't think about this one. It says eat your meals on your new schedule. So if you eat lunch at noon, maybe your body doesn't feel hungry till 1, but really you should be eating at noon to, in essence, force your body
to get back on the new
adjust.
schedule. Yeah. I the time change for an hour difference, I really don't think is that big of a deal.
Sure.
You know, like people talk about it all the time, like, oh my gosh, I just can't function. Like I'm like, really, the other thing that should have been on this list is deal with it. Like it's a day out of your life, you know, and like your body gets used to it, and you just get back to normal. The hardest part of daylight savings time is changing that one random clock that you don't remember how to change, like the buttons or your watch. If
I
you're
hate
like,
that.
if you have a watch that you have to push like 14 things to get it to change, that's the worst part of daylight savings time to me.
Well, for me, I'd say that the worst part so far has been a baby. I didn't think, again, you would think it's just an hour.
Yeah.
We're fine. Bennett didn't understand that last night. As I go to put him to bed at his normal bedtime, he's like, whew, let's wrestle, Dad, let's wrestle. Even though he didn't say that.
That's true.
That's the energy he was giving out. He has not understood the time changes. So
that could make it harder for sure, because your kids, and then once you get them on a system, they change anyway.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part about being a parent, is like you got, good, we're locked in. This ought to last for a year, and then it lasts for about a day, and then the little kids, they change their own system. It's nuts. So, all right, well, there you go. Some tips for you if you are struggling today with daylight savings time. Maybe one of those or more will help you out. One and done. Uplifting Away FM, this is the Wally Show. We're going to play One and Done. Now, this is a fast-paced game, and you have to have thick skin to play it, because you get one question, you make your answer, and if you get it wrong, I just hang up on you. No pleasantries. We're just gone. We're on to the next one. And so I can't have people crying. You know, you can't be too sensitive here. You just got to accept it and move forward, okay? And look, and it's not me. These are the rules. I don't like it. I hate it. But that's just the rules that I created, and so I'm bound by them.
He hates them so much that he created it.
Exactly. And so let's set our baseline. It's a top 10 list, and what you're trying to do is tell me between two things which answer came in higher on the list. So we're going to set the baseline by finding the number one answer right now, and that will give you an idea of where we're working at. So this is, what is an old person habit that you've adopted, like younger people doing old people stuff? So here's the example for Betty and Gavin here. Is it having a plastic bag full of other plastic bags?
Oh, I do that.
Or doing weekend errands before noon to beat the crowds? Which of these two things is an old person habit that more young people are adopting?
I've never heard of the plastic bags inside of a plastic bag.
Are you
What do you do with all your Publix bags and your Kroger bags? Don't you put them in a bag?
Don't throw them away, right?
Wait, are you saying at home?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like in your purse or something.
No, like at home.
Oh, at home? Oh, I've got like one of those IKEA, like ridiculously big bags
filled with other bags.
Plastic bags.
Do you recycle them?
No, I use them for the litter box.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you're kind of recycling.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so which do you think came in higher?
Well, I started doing that a lot earlier in my life compared to the getting up early to beat the crowd. So
sure.
I don't know, Gavin. I would say the plastic bag thing.
I think that the plastic bag is going to be a little bit higher because I've been doing that forever. And we just started recently shopping at 8 a.m. on Saturdays.
Oh, that's
really?
so early.
It's great, though. No, but it's great. Going out early before people get up and going, it's the best.
You get to hang with the Publix and the Krogers and the Walmart staff.
You get to see Jean. She's working the front door at Kroger, and she's 90. But like she doesn't make it past 9, you know. And so you got to catch her early. It's
Her
pretty
first
great.
nap.
Her nap,
Oh, yeah.
first nap is at 9.
So great.
So we're going with plastic bags, I think.
All right, well, that came in the last place on this list, actually.
Last?
Number 1 was doing weekend errands before noon to beat the crowd.
It's the best.
I know. So that's number 1 on this list. So maybe that'll help you as you get your 2 to choose from. Think about which might be closer to that answer, okay? That's how we play one and done. Again, gotta have thick skin. You're gonna get a choice of 2 things. You give us your answer. If you get it right, you win a prize. If you get it wrong, I hang up on you with a maniacal laugh. Like that. I just added that in. Maniacal laugh for free. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Only the tough need apply, okay? 855-33-WAY-FM if you want to play now.
One and done. One and done.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Steph, welcome to the one and done game. Are you a tough girl?
I'm going to be.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound good. Because, again, this is a very fast-paced game. You get one chance to win. If you get it right, you win a prize. If not, I just hang up on you just mercilessly, okay?
Okay.
She sounds nervous, but it's going to be fine.
I don't blame you. You can do it. You can do it.
Here we go, Steph. Oof, I feel this one's going to hurt me personally. I'm going to be affected by this if she loses. So here's the list, top 10 list of an old person habit that younger people have adopted. So you're trying to get the higher of the 2 on this list, which came in closer to number 1. Is it eating early dinners or buying pill organizers on Amazon? Which of these 2 things came in higher on this list of old people habits that young people are doing more of?
I know this because I'm a youngish person and I've started doing this, buying pill boxes on Amazon.
How tough did you say you were?
Oh, I'm really tough.
She is tough. Come on.
I want you to just really hunker down and see how tough you are.
She's so tough that you need to hand her this win.
No,
okay?
I can't. That came in at number 9 on the list.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and eating early dinners came in at number 2.
Dang.
I think as an old guy, the earliest dinner I've done has been like 3:30. Kind of more of a late lunch.
That's lunch.
Yeah, it really is.
Honestly, I do like a 3:30 dinner every day.
Do you really? Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? We've gotten sidetracked. I need to hang up on Steph. Sorry, bye, Steph.
Steph.
All right, we got time for one more. One and done. 855-33-WAY-FM if you want to play along.
One and done. One and done.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Santana, thank you for joining us for One and Done, the fast-paced game show where you get one chance to win, but if you lose, I just hang up on you with no pleasantries. Are you ready to play?
I guess I am.
Okay, well, Stephanie guessed she was too, and she's off somewhere crying right now.
He
she
was
lost.
so mean.
Oh, okay. I hate it. I hate this part of my job, but somebody has to do it. So
Try
here we
and
go.
say that without smiling.
I can't.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's the top 10 list. It's old people habits that young people are adopting. Now, you're trying to get which came in closer to number 1. Okay, so here we go. Using closed captioning on everything you watch or lowering the volume while you're parallel parking. Which of those 2 things came in higher on this list?
Closed captioning.
Closed captioning. Oh, you said that with definite confidence. I love that.
I started doing that when I got a toddler, so that's
Oh,
why
really?
I say that.
My daughter is 26 years old. She watches everything with captioning on.
Whoa, she started young.
Yes, she did. Do you watch with captions on, right?
I do too. And I don't know how it happened, but now I actually tried to break myself of the habit. Like I started watching something without the subtitles, and then I was like, I can't do this. Like I need both.
It's amazing at your age that you know how to turn them off and on, actually.
Stop it.
Well, you know what, Santana, guess what? Your answer came in higher, and you're a winner today.
This is Monday School. It's Wally's take on what he learned at church. Or at least the parts he understood.
So AI, artificial intelligence, is everywhere. And for fun, since we're in a series about the miracles of Jesus, our pastor asked AI if AI believed in miracles. And it said, miracles and biblical miracles are not just supernatural occurrences, but a testament to the power of God. You're like, oh, not bad, AI.
Yeah.
Like, how did you come up with that? It's theologically on point.
Kind of surprised.
Me too. But then it turned the script on the pastor, though. It said he said the AI then asked him if he believed in miracles. So our pastor took time to type in his own personal story of praying to God to heal his son because his son had a disease that could kill him. And he went through all of this, types it into AI, sends it, and AI responded. That is amazing. I'm sure you were on a roller coaster of emotions, but to see the healing power of God must have deepened your faith. And I'm not sure, but I think our pastor led AI to Christ that day. It's pretty great.
AI starting to sound a little too
real.
Too real, too human.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? Miracles are signs, and they're signs that lead you to the destination, you know? Like if you're at the airport and your gate is gate C23, you look for the signs to let you know where you want to be. For everyone else, it's not at gate C23. They just kind of walk by, and the sign doesn't have any meaning for them. But if you need C23, you start paying attention to other signs that will help you figure out the way to where you're going. And in our lives, many people walk by and miss the signs of Jesus that he's showing us every day. His miracles are big for some people, like my pastor having his son healed. And for other people, the miracles are smaller, but they're all signs leading people to God. And does he still do miracles today? Absolutely. But so many times we chalk him up to coincidence, or we miss him completely because we're so focused on the problem rather than the God of miracles. And the end goal of miracles is belief in him. In the Bible, Jesus said, unless I show you signs and wonders, you will not believe. I think Jesus knew we lack faith sometimes, and we need something that points us back to him and shows us his power in our lives. And today, there are so many miracles that point us to Jesus. But the question is, do we take the time to recognize them and follow them, or do we just walk by? So there you go. That is your Monday School for today.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. If it's trending, streaming, or starring, Betty Rock's got it on The Rock Report.
With baseball season just around the corner, The Hollywood Reporter decided to put together a list of the best baseball movies.
Ooh, okay. Now, Gavin's a sports guy. There are baseball movies that I love, so I'm curious if any of mine made the list.
Right. And I want to put out there a couple of them that didn't make the list that I'm surprised by. The first one being Major League. I never saw that one.
With Martin Sheen. Or,
yes.
Not Martin Sheen. The
Tiger Blood guy.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Yes.
Which I never saw. Was it a really good movie?
I haven't seen that one either.
It's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to think back on a movie and go, oh, that was really great. And then you go back and watch it again. And you're like, oh, that had some really bad stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
So I can't comment because I don't remember it enough.
Okay. Well, I'll say one of them that I am disappointed in because I love this movie, and it's The Sandlot.
Oh, wait, that's not
You're killing me, Smalls.
It didn't even make the list.
It's not a baseball movie.
Yes, it is.
It's a kid's movie. It's
all about baseball.
Yeah, but that to me, that's not
Babe Ruth.
That's not a baseball sports movie. That's a kid's movie that happens to circle around
I
baseball.
would disagree. Another one that didn't make the list was Field of Dreams.
Now that is a baseball movie for sure.
If you build it, he will come.
It's a weird baseball movie.
That's not a baseball movie.
That's a baseball movie.
No, it's about reconciliation with your daughter and your dad
surrounding
and ghosts.
Baseball, yeah. As an adult,
Now, a couple of them that did make the list. This one was one of my favorites. It was A League of Their Own.
Oh yes.
Perfect.
There's no crying in baseball.
That is
so
a fantastic movie. Like, I wasn't sure if I was going to like that. I cried multiple times in that movie. And there is no crying in baseball. I object, Tom Hanks. There is.
It's so good. That one only made it, though, to number 6. So you might be wondering,
wow.
well, what's the top 3 of the
I
best
know
baseball movies? Number 3 from 1988 is Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, yeah.
Never
That's
saw
Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon. That was a huge baseball movie for sure.
Coming in at number 2 in 2011, so not that long ago, Moneyball.
Oh, with Brad Pitt.
Jonah Hill.
Yes.
That's your movie for the for like the baseball nerds, like stats
Yes.
and building a team.
That was good.
With a low budget. Great movie.
Yeah.
Never saw it. And then finally, coming in at number 1, do you have any guess?
The two that I would have thought
That's what
would be
yeah.
Bull Durham and Moneyball. Like, I can't think of another baseball movie.
I can't either. Oh, is it the one where the kid gets drafted and he can throw fast? I can't think of it.
Angels
the
in the
Rookie?
Outfield?
No, that was horrible, by the way. The Rookie, yeah, with Dennis Quaid, who I co-starred with, and I can only imagine he did that
Stop
first.
it.
No,
that didn't even make the list.
Oh, man.
And I'm co-starring in
Okay,
I Can Only
coming in
Imagine
at
2
number 1.
with Dennis Quaid.
Not
What?
important.
Number 1 from 1988, 8 Men Out.
I
Do you
don't
know
know
that
that one. No.
Really?
From 88?
Yeah, from
Out.
1988. It's called 8 Men Out, and it came in at number 1.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
y'all don't even know
No.
what it is.
No, I don't.
Well, to me, then that just goes to show that this list is lame.
Yeah. It got like one right.
Sandlot should have made it
Nope.
in. Yes, Sandlot should have been number 1. It's my favorite. Then followed by A League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, I would put that in the top 3 for
Well,
sure.
I'm disappointed. As with every baseball game, I'm just disappointed.
Baseball is one of those things. I love about 4 good innings at a baseball game. I love going to the park, get some popcorn, get some peanuts, some Cracker Jack, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like 4 innings in, I'm like, "Phew, let's beat the crowd. Let's get on up out of here. I'm like super bored by that point. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and Matthew West is an artist that we've played for years here, and we love him. And Gavin found something from his wife though the other day online, talking about relationships and marriage advice and things like that, because they've been married for a while.
They've been married for a long time. They have 2 kids, and they're very, I think, like public people, so they have this strong marriage that I think is really good and reciprocated. But she gave her advice for couples who are like young in their couples who are like in their faith, or maybe couples that are going through kind of a rough patch, and this was her advice.
Just praying for each other, in the big and the small and the big decisions and family, just all of it. Just praying. When you have a meeting, I'm praying for you. When I'm worried about something, you're praying for me and for our kids. And so I think that's the biggest thing, a couple that prays together. We always have, and we've brought that into our family and our home, and making our home a safe haven.
My wife will do that. Like sometimes if we have a meeting that she knows and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to this meeting today. She's like, what time is the meeting? And I'm like, it's like 11. And she's like, she will be praying for me in that meeting so
that's
that
so sweet.
I will be calm or rational or just not speak.
But that's so awesome to be so loved like that,
Yeah.
that someone wants to pray for you. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, and I probably could be better at that for her. Like, when we fly, oh boy, I'm praying a lot. Because she hates to fly and she's all nervous and stuff. And I'm like, Lord, please, not for me. Just no turbulence, please. Please.
Knock her out. Knock her out.
Yeah, either that or knock her out. One of those 2 things, Lord, I'm fine. All right, so let's talk about this with you. That was Emily West's marriage advice. What would your best piece of marriage advice? Maybe you got a lot of years under the belt. I got 33 years in the game. Gavin, where are you at now?
We're at 6 now.
6 right now? Okay. And so I'm curious, what would your advice be? Maybe you're new and you learned something early on from somebody that landed with you and you're like, man, we do this in our marriage and it's really great. Or you've been in the game for a while and experience and life has taught you something. But it's really good, though, to share this kind of stuff because you never know how it's going to land with somebody, and it might be just the thing that they need to hear as they're walking through their marriage. Because, I mean, it can be tough. There are moments. I don't think that marriage is hard. Like, I don't think it should be hard. I think if it's hard, then maybe choices weren't the best, But, like, there are hard moments in marriage, But, like, the whole thing as a whole, it shouldn't be hard, But for some people, maybe they find it that, and maybe you can help them out. So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. We'll take yours now, 855-33-WAY-FM. So, Crystal, what is your advice?
Pick your battles.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I've been married for 21 years, and when you start to argue about something, you start to get really picky and nitpicky, and you resent people, and it's just really hard. You just have to pick your battles.
Yeah, and you don't have to be right about everything. There are times I know my wife is dead wrong on something, and I just know it. And I'm sure I've been wrong too. But I used to want to win the debate, and I found that so not healthy. And so something that old producer Zach used to tell me is really great. You go, you might be right, You haven't said you're right. You might be right. And that's, appeases her.
Yeah.
It appeases you, and you move on.
But I bet you tried that, and it just killed you on the inside.
Does kill a piece of my soul. I usually say it as I go, you might be right, as I'm leaving the house because I have to get away.
Oh, heck yeah.
So what is yours, and how long have you been married?
I've been married for 18 years, and I actually am a marriage and family therapist.
Oh, that's good. So there's a little expertise coming our way.
Hopefully.
So what would your advice be?
The advice that I always give the couples I work with is always remember that you have a teammate and a partner and not an enemy. Ooh. And of course, there are obviously some nuances there in cases of some, outlier experiences that people have. But
Sure.
By and large, it's always good to remember that when we're hurt and upset, we do not have an enemy on the other side.
I do have to remember this with my wife. I'm an 8 on the Enneagram, and when somebody challenges you, it's easy to write them off as a problem. And my wife, she challenges me on the daily because her nature is kind of like that too. But then I had to remember most times, 99.9% of the time, when she's telling me something that even I don't want to hear, she has my best interest at heart. Like when I'm driving and she's telling me to slow down, that I don't want to pay for a ticket and I'll be upset if I get a ticket. So she's thinking of me in that way. And so where it could be seen as you're just trying to control me or manipulate me or nag me, when you look at it from the perspective of you're actually trying to help me, even though I don't want your help or ask for it, but thank you. I think that's a really good reminder is that you have a teammate, not an enemy in your marriage. And if you got an enemy, you got a bigger problem,
Exactly. And that's what I'm here for.
Exactly. There you go. That's when you need professional help. Matt, how long have you been married?
I've been with my wife 11 years, married 6.
Okay, 6 years in the game. So what would your best piece of marriage advice be, Matt?
I learned this very early on. Your problems are not greater or less than your significant others. Just because it doesn't seem like a big issue to you, to your significant other, it might be really big, and you need to come down to that level and have an understanding and respect for that person and help them get through that, whatever that struggle is.
We do this with our kids too, because we look back and we're like, okay, that's not a big deal. But for your kids, something they're dealing with, it's the biggest thing ever. Mm-hmm. And we don't always apply that same thing to our spouse. I'm sure I've done this to my wife and kind of minimized something that she was feeling in the moment, thinking it wasn't a big deal, but to her it really was.
Once I started to realize that, my marriage, it almost did a 180-degree turn. And I wanted to add a side note. I just started listening to you guys. I got my first Bible yesterday.
No way, really? That's awesome, man. Well, welcome. We're glad that you listen, and I love that you're digging into the Word of God. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so you guys have really helped change a lot in my life, and it's only been a month. So
no way. Well, Matt, that's awesome, dude. I'm so glad to hear that, and I love your advice, and I appreciate you listening and being part of the show, man. You rule, man. Thank you.
You guys have an awesome day.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.